Hey, everybody. Happy Monday, everybody. And I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Opinions, live streams, and podcasts right here on Meta Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And it is one a hot day, but this is my kind of weather. I love this weather because this is my birth month, July, and everybody know that July is a hot month. It's a very hot month. Okay? And listen, we got a great show lined up for you today. I want to tell you a little bit about the young man that we have on the show today. This is a young man that I had the opportunity to meet when I was at Intellectual Radio. And I haven't seen him in a while. And you know, when I when he contacted me and I got a chance to actually see him, I was quite surprised because mine has grown and mine has he's matured. He has always been a spiritual person and he's always been into yoga. But listen, now we are going to learn another side of him because he's going to enlighten us today and it's really going to be something positive. Listen, in life I find out that you have to have an open mind because a closed mind will not get fed. You have to open your mind and you have to be willing to learn new things and take in new knowledge. And if you're not, sometimes you will get stuck in time. Okay? And you definitely don't want that to happen. So let me let me first bring in Professor Dunn to the screen. Hey Professor Dunn, how are you?
Oh, Katie, how are you?
Okay, how was your weekend?
It was uneven. I
It was
spent most
what?
of it uneventful. I took my booster and I had a little side effect from the booster, so I spent most of the days in the bed over the weekend.
You had your booster over the weekend?
No, I had the booster. I spent most of my weekend in bed.
Oh, because you think the booster put you in bed?
Yeah, I ran a fever and some chills, stuff like
Oh,
that.
so you had some side effects from it, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. I had mine not too long ago. I didn't have a lot of side effects, but I don't know. It's just something about that COVID medicine. It always makes me want to eat. Every time I have that COVID shot, all I want to do is I just want to go and eat up everything. And since I'm not a meat eater, I I tend to just eat up everything in my refrigerator. So I tend to eat up a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruit, drink a lot of water. But I mean, every last. I mean, even just the regular COVID shots. That's the way they've done me. They've always made me want to eat. I guess I'm
yeah.
kind of
Well,
fortunate.
I don't do a lot of fluids. I but my appetite did not um, it didn't get any worse or anything. But when I started running chills and my fever ran at about 100 and 103, 102, something like that for a couple of days. So I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure I stayed put and didn't wind up infecting somebody. you know,
Oh, I heard that. So you
yeah.
didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that, did you?
No, no, I just took Tylenol and watched my temperature and made sure that I regular, kind of pay more attention to how I was feeling, so that I would see if I was feeling dizzy when I walked or whatever. Everything was okay, but like I said, I did run that jump, and uh, and I had some chills after I took the shot, and got real sore in the area where I took the shot at. So,
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to know that you are feeling better. Okay.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because I know some people out there who haven't taken it, and they're afraid to take it, and they're expressing skepticism about taking it. I hope that seeing me up around, moving around at almost 67 years old, um, and having taken both shots and the second booster, in fact, um, and I'm still living, so it's not going to take us out. we just
I heard, I heard
we
that.
need.
And you know, that's another thing. The COVID numbers here in the city of Chicago, should I say, in the state of Illinois, right now are high.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so afraid that they're going to call that mask mandate back. You know, and
Well, it's kind of hard. It's hard to get people out of the frame of mind that things haven't gone back to normal. They,
right, right.
they, they have not, and so everybody wants to get out and almost put themselves in the frame of mind that everything's back the way it was before we even started dealing with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very true. Excuse y'all have to forgive me. My light, oh, just went out. Trying to get it back on here. There we go. Okay, there we go. It popped off for a minute for some reason. I probably hit something with my foot, knowing me, with these big old clumsy feet I got. But anyway, it's just important that if you haven't had the vaccine, because we thought COVID was gone. I always say we never got out of a pandemic. I always say we still have the problems. And I just tell people if you haven't had the vaccine and if you're not going to take it, please wear a mask and follow social distances for those of you that, because some people they're afraid of it, some people can't take it because of health reasons. I always say, follow the protocol so that you don't endanger someone else. And now they came out with this thing called, what is it, monkeypox?
Monkeypox, yeah.
Yeah. So it
Well,
looks
see,
like,
every one of the variants. Well, you and I did the first show after I got out of rehab the first time, and I told you what all of the text and everything was saying when I was in the rehab center, and they were worried about the next phase and the next phase and the next phase. It wasn't like they were thinking that COVID-19 was the end. It was, they were saying there's going to be more coming along the line, and so it's just new variations of the COVID virus that's mixing with other viruses that's already in the air in the atmosphere in the first place.
okay.
And so it could very well be a combination of anything. It could be rheumatoid arthritis, the virus that causes the muscular problem with rheumatoid. Well, if COVID gets with that, it becomes another strand of the virus. And so it's so many different variations out there possible that we have to be very careful. That's all I ask everybody to do. Be very careful, exercise precaution, wash your hands, wear a mask, try to practice social distancing as best you can because it's still out there and still taking people out.
I heard that. Okay, I just want to I want to remind everybody that you are watching uh, Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And the name of the show today is Opinions. Opinions. You know my favorite saying. I have to say it. I can't help myself. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. But today, without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest. I guess I'm going to let him tell you about himself. I can tell you that he is a certified yoga instructor, but there is some other things about him that you should know. He is a very spiritual, a very spiritual individual. And today he is going to tell us, he's going to talk about being in tune, mind, body, and soul. He said we got to be in alignment. All of that has to come together. And he said when that comes together, we're going to find out some new things about ourselves. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. Howard. Well, hey, Yogi.
Hey, how everybody doing?
Hey, Doc, how are you?
Man, I just wanted to say, man, I give y'all the most high regards, for, giving me the opportunity to just create a great, what I'm saying, dialogue. I call it the meaning of the minds, you know, because, you guys in the older bracket generation than I am, and I'm right under you, and it's just a beautiful thing that we can come together and stimulate each other, which will help to build our spirits and our energy up.
Okay, you know what? Why don't you introduce yourself and tell people what you do and who you are before
Okay,
we get into our conversation?
okay, okay.
Excuse me.
I'm Howard, by the way. So certified yoga instructor. So I teach yoga. I have been teaching yoga for over a decade, about 10 years, and yoga was my beginning journey. Started with yoga to work on my physical health, uh, which I started to practice maybe 12 years ago, and it made me discover um, the benefits of mental health, emotional health. When you have a clear mind, I noticed that I was able just to reflect more on myself, just working out and yoga, breathing, and I also am a massage therapist. So after I started teaching yoga, I went to school to learn massage, and massage helped me to kind of tap more into my emotions and my feelings, and it helped me to like just feel energy in the body and know how to release resistance or negative energy, tightness, old negative thinking patterns in the body by just healing. So yoga, massage, and I'm a researcher. I'm a researcher in astrology, numerology, um, also in like family. Yeah, okay, somebody had told me. So I'm a big researcher in African culture and traditions of family structures and upbringing, and yeah, and that's I guess that's about it.
Okay, so you and I had a talk on the phone, and you were talking about positive emotions,
Okay,
and you made a statement to me, and you said people needed to know what strong positive emotions are. So I'm going to put that question to you. What are strong positive emotions?
okay. So my theory, my theory on what strong positive emotions are, they are what shape our individual and also collective realities that we're able to experience, in this time and space reality. So, positive emotions, for example, are, happiness, joy, um, surprises, um, love, you know, um, proof, you know, positive emotions, stimulate us to feel good, and when we feel good, it helps to strengthen our physical condition. And
But
when we strengthen our physical condition, by working on our mental health and working on our physical condition, we're able to live a spiritual life. And things start to align when we are able to attract.
Uh-oh, somebody must be calling. You have to disable that button.
That happens. I don't know when that happens.
You have to go to your phone and disable your incoming phone call.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Because if you don't do that, every time somebody try to call you, it's going to break into your live feed.
Okay. Do I gotta go to? Do I gotta go to you?
You have to go into your settings.
Okay.
I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, you have to go into your settings and go to your phone, and where it says incoming calls, you have to disable that. And if you disable that, nobody can call you.
Okay.
I'm on a podcast.
Okay, everybody, while he's getting that together, I want to remind you that you're listening to Rhythm Flow Radio Live stream right here on Meta Facebook Live.
Tracy, I'm on a broadcast. I'm on the broadcast live.
For some
Captain,
hello.
Okay.
For some reason,
You can't do it.
but we'll be good. We should be good. Because somebody call out mine, but
Okay.
ain't nobody calling me.
Okay, so I was going to ask you because you were saying that positive emotions were like you said happiness.
and would you please do the fan?
Okay, let me while he's getting it back together. Okay, so the positive emotions. Okay, do you know Tiny Right?
Okay, talking.
Wait a minute, do you know Tiny Right?
No.
I don't know how they got this. What about Bill Lindsay? I don't know how they got. I don't know how they got the link
Yeah,
to log in.
I know Bill. I know Bill Lindsay. Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't give them the link to log in.
Oh, you know what? I did. You're right. I did get them the link. My bad. I'm thinking.
Okay, do you want them on the screen?
On the screen?
Yeah, they have the link to the show. They're in the green room.
Yeah. With meaning that they can observe the show. Yeah.
They can not only observe the show, they can be in the screen.
I guess if you do bring them on like that, they'll be mute. They won't be able to be seen, right?
If I bring them on, they will be seen.
Oh, okay. No. Give them log on to the.
You don't want them. Okay. Anyway, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, you're watching Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Meta Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. The name of the show is Opinions. And our guest today is Howard, Yogi HD Howard. And he is a certified yoga instructor. And he is the owner of, what's the name of your company?
Gold Coast Massage.
Gold Coast Massage and Treatment. Okay. Yogi just got through talking about positive emotions, and he said those positive emotions was happiness, joy, and what else did you say?
So positive emotions are strong emotions that help us to be well mentally, physically, spiritually. So when we feel joy, we feel excitement, we feel bliss, we feel happiness, we feel emotions, surprises, emotion that energizes us in a positive direction. Bliss, positivity, positive emotion. So when we experience more positive emotions first with ourselves, we're able to experience more positive emotions when we interact with other people.
Okay. So
Yeah.
are all people able to feel positive emotions?
You say, are all people able?
Are all people able to feel positive emotions?
Yes, all people are born, in my theory, my opinion, all
Okay.
people are born able to experience high levels of positive emotions, but development plays a big role. Okay, so when a baby is born in the womb, the more that baby experience more positive emotions come EI from the mother, which usually she has a positive support system, emotional support system coming from the husband, the family, the grandparents. It's transferable, um, to help develop the emotional system of that young unborn baby before it comes out of the womb. So, 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 um, yes, all people are, they can experience. We have a lot of us do have childhood traumas, which helps to reduce, those positive emotions and traumas to create more negative emotions. So some of us might have to work a little harder than others to sustain it long, depending on development and other factors of life.
Okay. Um. So I, I wanted to. I guess I wanted to say that another way.
Yeah, take your time. Just take your time.
Okay. Okay.
Take a deep breath.
So the positive emotions has its benefits. Okay. Okay. So how does positive emotions benefit with our wellness,
Okay, with our wellness. So when you say wellness, so
overall health?
okay. So yeah, hello. So when we say wellness,
Mhm.
wellness covers, all aspects of the being. So we said mental wellness, we said
Okay.
physical wellness, and we said spiritual wellness. Okay, so we can break down the three to get a little more specific and detail of what are the difference between the three. So you got mental. Your mental is what is basically your mind. So your mind perceives all of your senses. Okay, so when you are feeling positive emotions mentally, you're thinking clearly. Okay, because you're feeling good, so you're seeing the good. You're seeing the goodness in the world. So when you feel good, you see what we call the kingdom of God. Meaning that you see positivity and negativity because you feeling so good that you are vibrating at a higher vibration or frequency, you're moving faster. And so that makes you want to move your body because when you enjoy, you want to jump up, you want to move your body, you want to run around the block. Like if you're in love, you just feel really, really energetic. You're more healthier. You're regenerating. That's what positive emotions do. It regenerate you to make you feel youthful, make you want to accomplish some things, you know. So that's how it benefits you physically. It makes your joints stronger because you're moving, you're doing more things, opposed to negative emotions. If you got a lot of negative emotions, you're going to be depressed more. You're going to be, have more anxiety. You're gonna produce more strong, fearful emotions opposed to loving emotions. And fearful emotions, it activates what we call the sympathetic nervous system, which is called fight or flight system. So if you activate that too much, it can kind of deteriorate you, make you older opposed to younger. You see, the positive emotions, it produce more love emotions, what regenerates us to make us, as we get older, we get younger. We don't get older and weaker, we get older and stronger.
You know what? Why don't I bring? Listen. Why don't I? I just hate to see these people standing back here in the back, and I can see Damn. I just want to. Oh wait, he just jumped out. They left out the screen because they knew that I was going to bring them in because they were in the back room, so I wanted to bring them in, but they left. Okay, so now you talked about all these good positive emotions and how they help us mentally, physically, spiritually. Okay, all of these good things that they do for us. So you say that we are born with these emotions, okay? It's not something that just happens. We're born with them. So
Yeah.
my thing is somebody has somebody has a show on and you've got to turn it off. You cannot listen to this broadcast while we are online.
Yeah, Bill, your audio is on. Bill. We can hear your background.
It's Bill. I just muted his mic.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
trying to listen to the show while we're doing the show. You can't
Okay.
do it. Let me see. He's still doing it. So I'll just keep his mic muted.
Okay.
Okay. And there's another person, Tiny Right. Well, they just went at the screen. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yogi.
You can bring them on. I guess just keep them on mute. You can bring them on.
Okay, okay. I'll just keep them on mute. Hold on. Let me. Well, she's already on mute. Okay.
Okay.
So you talked about how all of these good emotions that we are born with at birth. We come here with these positive good emotions. Okay.
Yes.
How do we keep them? How do we stay in tune with them?
Okay. In my opinion, my observation and what I have learned, I believe the best way to maintain strong positive emotions is first is you have to start as an individual. It also it was built was goes to family and community, but it has to start with I first. So meaning that when you do things like working out, meditating, to reduce your anxiety, eating the proper foods that don't spike up your anxiety and your negative emotions. We're talking a holistic lifestyle that you first have to be able to love yourself first so you can be lovable. You have to, what we call being a learned person, when we call being a mature person. So being mature is the best way to maintain strong positive emotions so your lifestyle and your life can reflect it. It starts with yourself. Okay. So so as we said, meditation, working out, eating the right foods, praying, meditating. Okay. And so now, if you want to expand that and you want to do what the body does, two things: the body procreates and the body regenerates. Okay. So, for and so now, if you do want to procreate, and or you so say we're gonna go with procreate first. So if you want to procreate and still maintain strong positive emotions, and you also procreating, you're gonna need a mature structure. You're gonna need to have a mature person that you can mate with, which helps keep a solid foundation, and it helps to breed good genes, because now you're passing on your good genes, because your mature genes.
Hmm.
Okay. And so, and now that you have a structure, you now if you procreate, have a baby, you have a structure that's not really wobbly and shaky. It's more grounded, more anchored. And now you can incorporate the same habits and lifestyles that you have maintained as an individual, and also your mate as an individual, that now your child can watch the mature ways you guys move, and they can mimic what you do. Just like when I just seen a Facebook post yesterday about some children, they was fighting the police. They was probably about 5 or 4, and they was cursing, fighting the police, and what did they learn that from? It's called, I think, epigenetics, which there is their if their parents are stressed out and doing these behaviors, that's what we call negative actions and behaviors, and the child's going to emulate it basically.
Okay, well let me take you back somewhere. So you were talking about how we were born with these positive. We were born with these positive emotions at
Mm-hmm.
birth. Okay.
Right.
Now I want to ask you
Because
because
we come from pure positive energy anyway. So before we came into our bodies, we were pure positive energy. We were not stunted by time and space. So we were we were able to manifest anything at will. But now that we have accept bringing our spirits in these physical bodies that we in now, it's in time and space. It's like if you put a seed in the earth, right? The seed is already a grown seed, but it hasn't grew yet. But it has everything in it that it's going to become. But since the seed is in time and space, it's going to take some time for that seed to fully mature in time and space. If you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you got a question, Professor Dunn, because I was going to say something.
No, I've been waiting. He
Okay,
said the word I was listening for a few minutes ago when he mentioned the word holistic,
okay,
because that's what this concept seems to be centered around the
Correct.
whole individual, and so we are all complete when it comes down to the Creator putting us here on the earth and taking us from the earth. We are a combination of all the elements of the earth in our bodies. And I'm sure that he understands all of that as well. And
Correct.
so when we then become masters of those things to the point where we understand them well enough to know how to manage them well and how to protect them well, then we become healthy individuals. Otherwise, we wind up falling victim to a whole lot of things that befall us that don't necessarily, they're not meant for us to have to deal with in the first place because they were put here, just for other reasons. They were here for negative reasons, the positive versus the negative. And that's my understanding. So to this point,
Correct.
okay. But what I was going to say, because you were saying that we are born and we're born with all of this, with all of these positive emotions, and you were saying that you started talking about you said something you said about it's in so many words it's what we put into our bodies, it's what
Correct.
we eat and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because a
Well,
lot that we eat, it suppresses our, a lot of the things we do suppresses our positive emotions, right? It clogs us up. So we just gotta let things flow to allow our blessings to come to us. So a lot of times when we, so like people do drugs or something like that, it suppresses their positive emotion, but it helps them to feel a positive emotion. But it's a trick, it's an illusion, because it really, you gonna crash and come back down and be lower than you thought you was, because you're gonna crash. So it just the positive emotions is what helps us to see that invisible realm of positive in the world.
what about the food that we put in our bodies?
Okay, the food that we eat, you know, so is one of my master teachers, Dr. Sebi, which I met him. He once said that a polar bear, I mean a gorilla cannot eat polar bear food. Okay, so since a lot of people from our, maybe from our nation, so-called African Americans, blacks, and indigenous, people, the diet might be different from people of other nationalities. So the foods that we eat, it helps us to sustain those positive emotions because it tastes so good and it's healthy for us. When you eat foods like sweet and mature fruits, the taste is so salva with the salivating, to your taste, that it makes you just feel good just eating something, and it stimulates your mind and your imagination, and it makes you just want to jump up and run around because now you got energy. But if you eat man-made processed foods that contain sugar and starch, you start to feel sluggish. You don't want to move. Now your mind is sluggish, and it's easier to be negative and be conning and wanting to take because you don't have the energy to give.
Okay. I was just wondering because
Yeah, I agree. I think that we, uh, and I definitely agree with the juxtaposition between the things that we put in the body and understanding what the functions of the body happen to be in the first place. A lot of people still walk around under the impression that we only have five senses to work with. So, and until
Right.
they come to realize that we have way more than that, and of course, we only use 50% of the
Correct.
brain that we are born with in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we got to do is find a way. I think, and what I think what you're doing, and what I feel you're doing, because that's what I was sitting here trying to absorb your vibe a few minutes ago. So that's what we all have to try to do when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to the spiritual side,
Correct.
and so that we won't wind up uh, conflicting in terms of spiritual uh, vibrations.
Correct. 'Cause
So,
spiritual, which is emotional, when you're strong with your spiritual and your emotions, you're lovable.
yes,
You can actually be in love, being spiritual and having emotional maturity.
yeah,
You can't really be loved if you haven't mastered your own positive emotions because love is high positive emotions. So it's like if you're not feeling good, no one can even love you because you're sour or bitter, you're not sweet. So to be loved that everyone wants, you got to do the work on yourself first.
that's true, very true.
And how does one do that?
Okay, how you do that is building your intellect. Okay, so building your intellect because as we know, like they say, the mind of God, and what it means is like basically you have to use the highest faculties of your brain to be mature. In this society is kind of challenging if we don't have a strong base of emotional support system, family. When you're an independent person doing everything, it's challenging to read books, it's challenging to work out, it's challenging to make sure you're eating the right foods that got the nutrition that your body needs so your brain can operate at a high level. um, it's just very challenging to do that when we separate away from our family tree. So like, but it's basically what we keep saying, which is you got to meditate. When you meditate, it reduces mental illness because meditation helps you to clear your mind. It helps you to lower your negative energy to a neutral. So if you meditate every day when you wake up for 15 minutes, your energy will be slightly positive. So that's a different experience of walking outside opposed to waking up mad and angry and not appreciating your life and walking outside feeling bitter and not sweet about life. You have two different realities that you're going to experience off of what do you do before you go outside. So, which is living a spiritual life, is taking care of yourself so you can see the love and see the kingdom that God has made for all of us to experience. But we got to feel good to see it. If you don't feel good, you can't see what's really good in the world. So you have to be selfish to feel good.
So why do people allow negative emotions to manifest in the body?
Uh, because it's a learned behavior. And the learned behavior starts in the womb, then it goes to the family. That's why God always wanted us to build a kingdom, and the kingdom is a family. And the family that has a solid foundation will create mature children that will go off into the world and also do negative things. But when they realize what their parents taught them is different than what they are feeling outside, they're going to come back home because they're going to realize this is the way. But they have to go feel the opposite. But as long as we stay stable in our family upbringing and we build in those families, our children will be okay. And we all would benefit. So if our children are feeling negative emotions, the parents are and the grandparents are too, because it's a chain reaction. All these links must be connected for all of us to have superior mental, physical, and spiritual health, because it's the Trinity. A home is three generations, which is the grandparents, the the children, and the godchildren. That's a true home. And when you build that home, generational wealth must come. But you have to have faith and belief to build something that's positive when you see all negative. So with no faith and no belief, this will not happen. It can't.
So let me ask you this. So, in so many words, everything starts in the home. Can I say that?
Yes, yes,
I can say that. Okay.
yes,
Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. So, say that in that home, you got a mother and a father.
correct.
Well, basically, you have a mother and a father, but sometimes you may have more.
And the more the merrier.
What? What?
The more the merrier.
Oh, you talking about the more family members?
Correct. That has all the spiritual values, because children, adults, and grandparents, the more love they have, the more positive emotions they can feel, the more well they will be, no matter the sickness of the world or the negative of the world. As long as that family base is full of love, it heals all. Love is higher than fear. So the fear of any man-made, creations is not as powerful as the faith and the love that a family and a community that can build. It will withstand anything.
But you look. I'm just gonna talk about the situation that we're living in today.
Okay.
Okay. Say there's a household, and I'm just going to throw this number out, and there's a household of 8. There's a mother, and there's a father, and there's 6 children. And
Um,
5 of, huh?
no, keep going. I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Okay. There's a mother, father, and there's 6 children. And 5 of these children are perfect. As the world sees what perfect is today. And
Mhm.
one of them is just plain out rebellious, does everything wrong, everything against the grain.
Mhm.
So I would say I'm just thinking about what we've talked about. So
Okay.
this child is full of negative emotions,
Okay.
but these other 5 are filled with positive emotions. How did this one child go wrong?
The one child did go wrong. Because you have to realize, like, we came. Remember, like my theory, we came. We can't. Well, our spirits are pure energy. So as we live in this life of time and space, you gotta have. It takes a while because you gotta develop now. We
Hmm.
we was already fully developed. So that one negative child offers contrast, and so which is balance. You know, so by that one child being, as you say, the opposite, it creates new experience. That it creates new opportunities of seeing things in a different way. That creates a better way, a future. Because that negative will truly mature at one point to be a positive, as long as it has that love, that
Mhm.
structure. It will go away, but it will come back to see another day. So it's just balance. So I don't see negative as really being negative. I see negative as transformation to more positive.
Precisely.
Correct. So I don't produce negative emotions because I'm in the face of negativity. I just take a deep breath and put my eyes in the eyes of negativity and understand what negativity is going through, but understand that I don't have to become negative.
But where do you see this from a spiritual perspective?
You say, can you repeat that, brother?
Where do you see that concept from a spiritual perspective?
Because spiritually, we know that God is love, which is the highest God. And we spiritually know that fear, which is the devil, is a lesser God. So no matter how much my eyes see fear, my faith in truth will overpower the fear. That's an illusion because it can't win when I know my worth. You
But then that negative, the negative spirit that we're talking about, then comes from the negative source, and it actually impacts the child that becomes negative.
correct, correct.
Is that true? Okay.
Well, it's just
And so,
negative is more immature. Positive is more mature. So it's just an immature version of the mature, expressing itself in negative emotions, which are manifestations. But it's not a right or wrong to neither one. They're both needed to create reality and for us to keep living on life and going years and years and keep recreating. If it was just all positive, I don't know how far we'll get. If it was just all negative, it creates new cycles. It creates new seasons. It just creates new change. Because life is about change. It just keeps changing. But we know that the positive is the most is the most healthiest part of it. Like you got positive, you got good health. You got negative disease, a disease part of health. So sometimes you got to get sick to get well. Or you get sick and you get knowledge and information on how to be more well. You see, it
yeah,
just
there are some people who believe that becoming sick is a manifestation of carrying someone else's someone else's elements um, that you deliver them from being affected by because you're strong enough in your body to carry it and overcome it. Uh,
correct.
that's a very serious spiritual outlook when it comes down to volcanism. And so when it comes down to looking at how people in inherently go about dealing with the spiritualism on this earth, that's the reason there's so much confusion. Uh, because if the spirit can divide that positive energy, keep us from coming together and forming a coalition,
Correct.
then it can then try to overcome uh, us as a force in itself. But that is, in fact, the yin yang when it comes down to the war between the negative and positive, as we have to deal with them every day anyway.
Correct.
So
Correct.
the child itself that winds up with evil.
Correct.
Some people would say that something evil overcame the child. That some people would say their mother was on drugs, or some out external force caused that to happen. Those of us who really believe in the spirit, in the fact that we are spiritual beings that were created by a divine being that was spirit, all spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who believe that, who really believe, and who really have to go into the in the upper room area that you're talking about and rely on that when we're at the sickest points in our lives. And I've been there. Um, then we understand what it takes to tap into that resource that God puts in all of us that you're talking about. And we do, in fact, have it all in us. Now, whether we're all capable of unleashing it is something that I'm glad people like you are out here to keep people aware that it's there and helping us to try to tap into it so that we can get our minds, and spirits pulled together.
Which is developing. We need to develop it.
Yes.
And it cannot the reason I guess I was able to develop it because I grew up with both sides of my family. I had one side of my family that stayed adjacent, 1 block away from each other. So I actually was able to see a big family, and that's why sometimes, a lot of times, I always think about the family structure polygyny, you know, because I seen the benefit of a big family, but it wasn't with a lot of consistent, strong, positive emotions. So by me being opposed and observing, a family structure with not the highest positive emotions, I also get that it gave me a desire to imagine it in a positive way, which comes from the imagination, which is a good thing. For contrast, that you were saying about that one negative young child, with the contrast energy, it births desires and imaginations for new solutions to help us to advance back into who we are, which is a holy, pure nation of people. We're able to sustain strong, positive emotions because we are, as they say in the Bible, the chosen ones, or the golden race, or just we all are humanity. We're able to get along, share resources, be loving and kind, be gentle, be truthful, honest, and just be mature, people. It's possible, and that is called heaven on earth, and it's possible, but it's not possible if we can't develop good emotions and sustain it, which is the basis of family. That's what family. That's why you want to create a family structure if you're trying to procreate, or if you're trying to be regenerated when you get older. Because when you get older, past 60, 70, 80, and 90, you need to be regenerated. That means that you need to be more active than you was at 50 below, because your functions is not automatically working the way they used to work automatically. So manually, you're going to have to operate your body with the knowledge that it needs to make yourself rejuvenate, meaning that you're going to have to be an open-minded vessel to try different things that was against maybe your beliefs that maybe were imposed, or maybe you were taught, but it's not helping you to get younger as you get older. You're not regenerating. You're actually deteriorating. You're rotting away because you're not understanding the sciences that God gave us to be to live an eternal life of happiness and
Yes,
good.
very true. You see, most of the questions that I get from a lot of people who are interviewers who have come and ask me questions after I survived some of the COVID things that we've gone through. The biggest questions they ask me is, do you feel uh, depressed? And I look at them and say, depressed about what? I mean, just depressed, feeling depressed, like down for some reason. I said, no, I don't feel down. I feel like if I can get up in the morning and walk down the hallway and make it there to the bathroom and go to the kitchen and get some water and be able to see my way through the house and back, I'm doing a whole lot better than a whole lot of people who are laying up somewhere with some tubes sticking in them, on ventilators or whatever, and even those who are in worse condition than that. So I,
Mm-hmm.
I can't feel negative. I have to
Mm-hmm.
feel positive. And so when I say that to them, then they sit there and they look at the paper because they're getting ready to. If I had answered the question wrong, they would have had a whole list of other things to ask me what was I feeling negative about, because it was more positive that I was going to be negative than they were positive that I was positive in the first place.
Correct. And what that is it's really like an inside joke of you not knowing your identity.
That's
Because when
correct.
you know your identity, you're pure positive. You're a spiritual being, and a spiritual being is pure positive energy and liquid love. And and so it's just interesting, because You know, it's man, woman, child. You know, and we have to develop to a grandfather and a grandma consciousness. You know, and this is why I talk about polygyny a lot, because when you take a grandma energy away from a family, that whole tree falls. You know, I mean, when we had see grandma energy is nurturing and it's wise. It's able to give you the nutrition you need to be strong. You know, and that was a very important role in the development of our family, because when grandma was at the table, everybody had to come eat at the table. And when everybody had to eat at the table, they had to share what they had, because grandma made enough for everybody, but you had to eat your share portion because eat. So this was teaching us socially how to get along. So a lot of these life lessons of how to be spiritual come from, you know, the home, and it comes from the structure. You know, when you look at Chinese and other nationalities, African Americans, by general whole, are the only people really that don't have that family structure, you know, and we are the biggest spenders. But if we actually had a family structure, we'll be the biggest investors in each other, and our children will mature to keep this generational rejuvenation going. Because we are the ones that came here to change our generational curses, and it's just building your families up with open mindedness about what's the benefits of polygamy. Can it help you to? Does it give everybody more, you know, time to develop, you know, their mind, their body, and their spirit? Because a lot of time when a lot of younger, immature women are having children, they don't even know life yet. They might be 20, 25, 30, but they still need to still develop their mind, body, and spirit. But now they got to support. So it's just we need more help. You know.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's just like when you mention the grandmothers in the family, they were the foundational part of the family that kept everything together. Even though it's been said, you know, that the man is the head of the house and so on and so forth, the organizer of the house, the orchestrator, the administrator of the house was the grandmother.
Hmm.
And she was the one who gave the orders. She was the one who could stop the arguments of any child in community and discipline anybody's children without any controversy, without being fussed at or cussed out by somebody like these young people are doing now. You can't go out and say anything to their children. Try
Not.
try to get them straight without having to call the police and take them out there with you. As a matter of fact, they'll listen more to the police than they will to elderly people such as ourselves when it comes down to that. And so I hope that we will be able to convey to the upcoming generation
Hmm.
the importance of listening to the elderly people, because the elderly people are leaving us now in large numbers. And those, that's history that's leaving. That's glue, the glue that keeps the families together. The extended families are no longer extended anymore. You don't have families living in houses or in housing areas or right next to each other or next door or living in the same house almost hardly anymore. People can't wait until they get old enough to move out and get a place away from where they live. And separates the family, and it causes divisions and weaknesses within the extended family structure.
And high mental illness too.
You know,
Yes,
you made a statement that really resonated with me, because you said that uh, you there was a time when we sat down and ate at the table, and we blessed the food. Everybody sat down and they
yes,
ate together, and
true.
they ate what the grandmother or the mother cooked.
This is true.
They don't do that today.
No, there's no
Everybody
order.
everybody eats something different. Well, I don't want that. I want McDonald's. I want Burger King. I
We're
want
very disagreeable.
yes, yes.
And when we're very disagreeable, we can't have faith and belief and trust in each other. And we
Yeah.
cannot see the kingdom of God on earth when we're highly disagreeable. Because when you have someone you're agreeable, guess what you see? The greatness in the world.
You know, excuse me. You're not gonna believe this. We've gone through an hour. I'm
Right.
definitely, I definitely want you to come back because this is a good conversation. This is a good conversation because I'm going to tell you why this is a good conversation. And it's a conversation that needs to be had because you don't hear a lot of young people talk this stuff. You just don't hear it coming out their mouth.
No.
Okay?
When you hear it coming from a young person now,
You're
you
right.
got
You
people
just don't
across
hear
the
it.
room looking at them strange, like there's something wrong with them.
Yes, you do. You don't. I'm not saying that there aren't any because there are a lot of them, but some of them will not talk it.
So that's called being bold. Some of them they just not bold enough and knowledgeable enough to express what they know.
Of course.
See, a lot of times people vocabulary because, like I said, to develop your spirit, you have to know what words you're using out of your mouth so you don't pass a spell, a negative energy on yourself, because we have been taught slang, which is connotative linguistics, which curses us, and they pay rappers to preach slang, the derogatory terms that make us feel negative emotion, and we curse ourselves of not being together, which is the positive aspects. So it's like when you feel something and can't express it, you're gonna be frustrated because and when you hear someone that can't express the way they feel, it's kind of uncomfortable to most people in the beginning, unless they have some type of inner desire to compliment and to encourage to want to learn more, which is it takes let go of your ego and embracing your truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and one thing I really do appreciate what you just brought out is that we are not born cursed.
Right.
The divine creator didn't curse us. I mean, when you read in the Bible, he didn't curse Adam. He said, "Curse is the ground." He didn't say, "Curse, I'm cursing you, Adam." No, he took away Adam's dominion for a while, but he gave it back to him. And so, what I don't understand is how people can get tricked into believing that we walk around being cursed in the first place, and invariably wind up cursing themselves by embracing that.
Correct. So you see, all disease start with the thoughts and what you accept as a belief, what you mentally agree with. It shapes your reality.
Yes,
So that's why it is God do send spiritual leaders and messengers, to help reshape and renew, the mind of some people who wants to be positive, who wants to be in love, who wants to be, healed, because we all are sick. We all have mental illness. And the only way it can be restored is bringing the family back together. And I just believe that polygyny is an African system that did that for us because it matured the man and it matured the woman. And it gave us responsibilities so we can be truthful. You cannot be divine and not be truthful. But you gotta know you got a nature. Men and women are equal, but we have different functions. And only a woman that's mature can mature an immature woman. Only the ego of a man think that he can mature a woman. No, you can't. Only a man can mature an immature young man. The reason that God said that man is the head of the home is because man usually is his job is to seek the positive emotions, is to seek the relationship with the divine, because we know that women actually are more mature than men, and we come from women. It was a mature woman that took me and showed me the forest. But women needs to understand the reason that God wanted the man to be the head is because as long as the family stay intact, the maturity of the children will stay intact. Who cares if it is polygyny as the mature way of doing things, but we all win because it's playing for the next 300-400 years because it's playing chess. The way we doing it, we playing checkers. We thinking about this 100 years that we living, and we not caring about the next 100 years or the next after that. So we are really just like a dog chasing his tail, going around and around.
Yeah, because that's why it's so negative about polygamy in the first place. They don't want the people to even know that was a culture that was before they brought us here.
It was
And
the spirituality. It's
yeah,
how
of course it was. And so,
spirituality.
but then when we get here and we wind up being forced into a European concept of what marriage and family
Okay.
is supposed to be about, then we don't buy into it. Then of course they want to make it illegal and say it's
That
voodoo,
comes that comes from
it's
not
witchcraft.
that,
For us to look at it the way it was from the beginning.
that comes from not being knowledgeable and not being
Absolutely does.
Correct.
okay. So listen, that's gonna be another show. So we're gonna and at this time I'm gonna invite you back because now we're over our time.
uh,
So you just get in touch with me and let me know when you want to come back
yeah.
and get down into talking about polygamy.
Okay. You gotta look leave room for growth and development.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, I thank you. I truly enjoyed this conversation. Okay. And you know what? This has been this has been truly a great show. Somebody said knowledgeable information. Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Well, I want to tell you, you one of the sweetest, young women that I've ever seen in my life. And I,
Oh, thank you, but I'm not a young woman. Let me tell you
well,
something.
but when you have strong positive emotions, you stay young forever.
Let me tell you something. Now, truly, I am the grandmother. I am the 72-year-old grandmother.
Okay.
Believe me, I am the grandmother.
So,
And I am the proud one. Okay?
and you're the roots to the tree.
Absolutely. God, listen, God has truly blessed me.
Yeah. I,
Listen, I'm telling you, he has truly, truly blessed me because there was a time that I could not walk.
mm,
Okay. So I had to make some changes in my life. And I made those changes. And as Brian say, I woke up this morning and I had a sound mind and I was able to put my feet on the floor
mm.
and I had some good energy and some positive thoughts. And I've been doing it every day. So I made some changes in my life and they were all for the better.
I love it, man.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't look back for nothing.
And when God, with God and faith, all things are possible.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
And I want
right.
to say to Professor, man, I want to say I enjoyed you, man. When your birthday, brother?
pardon me?
When your birthday? What day and month?
Oh, March 18th.
So you are a spiritual leader, my brother. Um, and I feel your energy. And as long as you keep that mind sound and you build your mental strength, your physical health has to follow.
Yeah.
So because it's mind over matter. and the spirit is the third element, and the spirit is pure positivity. The spirit don't look at anything in a negative way, and the spirit can be around negativity, and it neutralizes it, and it gets away before it gets negative, and it goes back to its rituals of feeling good.
Yes. This is
Okay.
so.
So we're listen. We got to cut this short. We out of here. Yogi, you just called me and set up that next show because we got to finish this conversation.
I,
Okay.
Definitely
I,
have to.
yeah,
We only hit the tip of the iceberg.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did lay. Hey, we did lay the foundation.
There we
Yes.
go. We
We
had
laid
to,
the foundation. Okay.
and it's anchored, and it's like submit.
All right. So I
Uh,
want to thank everybody for tuning in and logging on. You listen to Rhythm for Radio live streams right here on Meta, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And the name of the show is Opinions. You know, opinions are just like, assholes. Everybody got one. And to our host, Opinionated Lorie Williams, who's on hiatus. Girl, get it together, and we'll see you when you come back. Bye, everybody.